Good morning. Please note we are all adhering to the provincial health guidelines and are practicing social distancing to do our part to stop COVID-19. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the land, the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. I'm proud to have us here today. The Canadian Tulip Festival's Joe Riding, Lieutenant Colonel Ton Linson, Defense Attaché for the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. We'd also like to thank our RCMP band for taking part in this small ceremony today. I would first like to ask everyone to stand, if able, for the Dutch and Canadian national anthem. Sorry about that. Technology. Please be seated. I would like to welcome you to the Canadian Tulip Festival's Veterans Day at Beechwood. As you can imagine, this ceremony and this Liberation Month has been very different than originally planned. I'd like to take the time to thank you guys for joining us both on Rogers Tulip TV as well on Facebook Live today. I'm Nick McCarthy. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications and Community Outreach here at Beechwood Cemetery, and I would like to welcome you all. Beechwood, as some of you may know, is home to the National Military Cemetery and has been the final resting place of soldiers from the War of 1812 until modern times. We are proud to be the place where honor rests and have over 6,000 men and women who have served in our country in times of peace and in times of war. Today's a special day. We are standing in our field of honor, a place that is reserved for the Canadian Forces veterans, war dead, from the Northwest Rebellion, the World Wars, the Korean conflict, and the United Nations campaigns and other humanitarian missions that our country has served. The Field of Honor is also special as it is a place of over 25 allied nations, including our Dutch allies. I would first like to take a moment and thank all the people at home who are tuning in, and we would like to take a small moment to thank all the Canadian Forces men and women who have served our country. To our veterans, which we are here to honor today, we would like to honor your service and your contribution that has made Canada the country we are today. To that, we all say thank you. I'd like to now invite Joe Riding of the Canadian Tulip Festival to share a few words.
Thank you, Nicholas. And thank you to Beechwood Cemetery for hosting us at this very special and important ceremony today. Welcome to everyone, and I'd also like to acknowledge everyone who should be here today but cannot be due to the current situation. There are so many friends, sponsors, and partners to this festival, including folks from Veterans Affairs Canada, the National Capital Commission, Heritage Canada, the Ontario Ministry of Heritage, Sports and Tourism, the City of Ottawa, and the Mayor's Office, and of course our President and Chairman, Mr. Grant Hooker, and his lovely wife Pam, who are unable to join us today. I'm sure they would like to be here to show their immense gratitude to all veterans on the front lines. And not just the front lines 75 years ago, but through all the decades of global conflict, right up until today, where again, these extraordinary people are carrying on in extraordinary times. The tulip can be seen as a symbol of hope. It is planted in the darkest times in autumn with the faith and belief that it will bloom in the bright sunshine of spring. And we need hope like that right now. So we take the lead from those who came before us and from those who are all around us. And we will fight hard, we will carry on, and we will come out stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And the idea of the tulip as a symbol of hope is very important at this time. I would like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Tom Linson, Defense Attaché for the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, to say a few words.
Good morning. It's an honor for me to speak here today, not only to represent the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, but also to represent the people of the Netherlands. And thank you Canadian Tulip Festival and Beechwood Cemetery for making this ceremony possible, even during these difficult times. The first days of May are very important to the Netherlands, with May 4th our National Remembrance Day and May 5th our Liberation Day. On May 4th this year, the Dutch ambassador laid a wreath at the monument here at Beechwood Cemetery and held 2 minutes of silence, honoring both Canadians and people from the Netherlands who were killed during the Second World War and the conflicts afterwards. This year, more than 4,000 Canadians, including a group of veterans, planned to travel to the Netherlands to participate in remembrance ceremonies and also to celebrate the liberation of the Netherlands. Important ceremonies were planned on the 3 major Canadian war cemeteries in Groesbeek, Holte and Bergen-op-Zoom. Sadly, most of those events had to be cancelled or postponed. Some ceremonies were changed in an online version, as we are doing today. We all hope that the Netherlands can host those Canadians who plan to cross the Atlantic in 2021 to commemorate and celebrate together with the Dutch. But be rest assured, the people of the Netherlands, despite the COVID-19 crisis, remember and honor the more than 7,600 Canadian soldiers who paid the ultimate price for our liberation. And with the liberation of the Netherlands, not only came an end to Nazi occupation, but it was also the start of our freedom. And this freedom made it possible for the Netherlands to rise from the war ruins and to develop into an open and innovative country as it is nowadays. Over the years, the enduring bonds between Canada and the Netherlands have grown even stronger, and the tulip became the symbol of friendship between our 2 countries. As we are celebrating 75 years of freedom, we cannot take freedom for granted. Both Canada and the Netherlands were founding members of the United Nations and the NATO alliance. And together we participated in many UN and NATO missions to bring peace and freedom to other parts of the world. Personally, I have worked together with Canadian soldiers in Cambodia, former Yugoslavia and Afghanistan, and until recently, Canadian helicopters supported Dutch special forces in the desert of Africa in Mali. We continue to share that freedom by helping to create a safe, more just and prosperous world. Thank you, veterans, for liberating the Netherlands and giving us our freedom 75 years ago. Thank you, Canada.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Lyson. Our nation's enduring friendship continues to bloom like the millions of tulips we each plant every year. Please stand, if able, for the last post. Then we will follow a moment of silence, followed by the lament and the roust. We would now like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Linson to place a wreath at the Cross of Sacrifice here in the center of the Field of Honor. Thank you. I would like to thank you all for tuning in to both Facebook Live as well as Tulip TV. We are dedicated to hold this small ceremony to honor the sacrifice of all those who served and our allies during this period of uncertainty. We invite you back physically to Beechwood for next year's Canadian Tulip Festival's Veterans Day ceremony, and we encourage you to come visit when it is safe to do so. Again, we'd like to thank you, and please take care of each other.